It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey, guys. I don't know what that pause was, but all right. Welcome back. Hey, everybody in the room. We already have a few people. Guys, go ahead, hit that like button. And we're here to talk about 90 Day Fiancé. Guys, this was such an interesting episode for me. I don't know if I was annoyed during this episode, if I enjoyed this episode. I'm so conflicted. So I can't wait to talk to you guys about this. But I just don't know where to start. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for later when everybody wants to start calling in. And let's start, I guess, with Brandon and Julia. So, guys, this couple is so interesting to me because Brandon and Julia, they're all over the place. Julia has just come in from Russia, and Brandon and his parents are trying to welcome her the best way they know how. But it's very smothering, especially from his mom and dad, more so his mom. You know, when they try taking Julia around to show her all of the sites in Washington, D.C., the White House, just everything. They're trying to just show her everything. All she wants to do is be left alone with Brandon. She wants to enjoy her time with her fiance because they only really have 90 days to kind of figure out if this is going to work. However, his mom is here to show that she will be around. She is smothering, she is overbearing, and she's going to be on top of everything. She's constantly knocking on the door and setting times for them, setting times of where they need to be and what they need to be doing. And for Julia, this seems a little bit, like I said, annoying. You know, Julia did kind of let Brandon know after she found out the fact that they would be sharing separate rooms once they get back to the house, that if they are in fact sharing separate rooms, she will go home. She pretty much gives Brandon an ultimatum that he needs to talk to his parents, mostly his mom, and let them know that they will not be sharing separate rooms. Unfortunately, this is like two bulls going head to head because I don't see Julia backing down and I don't see Brandon's mom backing down. Brandon ends up having to explain later in this episode to his mom that Julia is not happy with this. You know, you can tell that she's trying to be a good sport, the mom, even though she is overbearing, but she's looking at Brandon like, I don't care. It's respect. It's a respect thing. You're living in my house, my rules. I don't want you guys sleeping together. So that's kind of is what it is. Otherwise, get a different place. But we did notice in this episode too, where Brandon's mom is pretty much just pointing out the fact that you can't afford another place. So you have to pretty much back down. Now, that's something that Julia didn't know until later this episode, is that Brandon had no money. At this point, it seems like Julia is just kind of figuring out that she came here on, I don't want to say a lot of lies, but a lot of mistruths. She's not going to have the living situation she thought she was going to have. Brandon doesn't have the money that he was explaining that he had, and it just kind of goes downhill from there. She feels like he's been lying this whole time, but what I don't understand too, for a lot of these people who come over, especially in the 90 Day Fiancé world, you know, usually the person who is over here in America is usually paying for the K-1 visa process and everything that entails. So thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Also, Brandon's mom ended up paying for Julia and her plane ticket, and that's probably why she feels entitled to have some sort of opinion. You know, I don't know, again, if this ultimatum thing is going to work, but I say we bring up somebody and see what they think. Guys, 56 in the room, go ahead, hit that like button. Hi, Faye. Oh, we don't have a Faye. All right, so we'll keep it moving really quick because I'm going to bring up a Blavi. I'm going to drop the link too if anybody else wants to call. And go ahead and hit that like button, guys. So Jovi and Yara, this was another interesting couple to me because now that they're in the Bayou in Louisiana, New Orleans, Yara doesn't seem like this is at all what she was picturing when she was thinking of America. Now, Jovi obviously has a close relationship with his mom. We have another castmate that's really close to his mom, and he wants to bring Yara over to the house to kind of meet her, get to know her and see where she stands with her, see how she's going to react to his mom. She seems like at first she's kind of trying. I don't know if you guys got that or you had that kind of, I don't know. It was a weird one. When they end up going over to the house, first off, Yara is pretty much dead set on the fact when she says no, it's no. No means no for Yara. But Yara doesn't really want to stay at the mom's house. Why they need to stay at the mom's house, I have no idea. But why it would be a problem, I really don't also know. So when they go over to the house, Jovi's mom is making food and she's kind of questioning Yara on a lot of things that has to do with the marriage. But Yara made a good point. Your mom is asking me a million times about this whole wedding thing, but she's not asking me anything about my personality. I could kind of see that. But at the same time, what I didn't understand is, Jovi's family really wants to see him get married, and they want to see him get married over here in the United States. Why can't they have both? Why can't they get married in the United States and also get married in the Ukraine? Kind of like Andrei and Elizabeth, except for Moldova. Actually, I'm going to bring up a person really quick. Hi, Blobby.
Hi.
I'm just curious really quick. On this, did you watch this episode?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, it's so great as always to see you. And 2, what is going on with Yara? Do you feel like she has kind of like this stank attitude, like this bad attitude when it comes to Jovi's mom? Or do you think that she's being nice?
She's being very rude.
Okay. Why?
She's being very rude because the simple fact that she does not understand why, if you're in America, he wouldn't want his parents to be there is crazy to me. It's like, what do you mean because your parents aren't going to be there? His parents can't be there. That's unreasonable. Who does that? Who comes all the way to New Orleans? It's one thing if his family lived in California and it was COVID and you couldn't travel, and so it was just you two at the wedding. But if their parents are there, absolutely not.
And did you hear her comment about saying that she doesn't want to get married here in a trailer park?
Okay, that's the thing about Jovi. I didn't take that as a trailer park. Now, I wouldn't know because, Adam, you lived in the South, so you were more like, is that what it looks like? Because I was like, I don't think that's how it looks.
No, that's not what it looks like. I actually, when I was little, I think we lived in a trailer park actually, and at some point, and no, that's not, even if you don't live in a trailer park, you've passed them, you've seen them, that's not what they look like. I actually thought Jovi's mom's house was a really nice house, especially from the outside. And when he was saying that he was bringing her to the swamp, Jason and I were even watching this. We were pleasantly surprised.
But even if his parents did live in a trailer park, you need to watch your mouth because she is not from money in the Ukraine. And you can see that when they show the video to her village. So, you just need to have that same level of respect.
Right. And be a little bit, kind of be humble, especially like you just said, you don't come from money. You might have this idea of money, but I think what happens is, a lot of these women, especially some of them from the Ukraine who jump on these sites, they're so used to getting gifts and money handed to them while they're talking to these different guys, these different suitors. And then they expect that once they jump into a relationship, that's exactly what's going to happen and that they can maintain that. And then they're disappointed.
I have to be honest with you. I'm not looking forward to her storyline. I find her very disrespectful, very rude, very, it's not even, can I ask you something? This is personal to me.
Yeah.
Do I remind you of Yara?
No, why?
Oh, because somebody said that to me. They're like, oh, well, you're abrupt too. I'm like, but there's a place and a time for it.
No, yeah, Yara, see, no, I wouldn't compare you two at all because I find Yara to be, she's looking for something to be wrong in every situation, and she's extremely negative when people are just constantly trying to make her feel good. And that is not a redeeming quality. That's actually, it makes her look nasty, and it translates for us as the viewers. This isn't bad editing. This is Yara just has this personality and this bad attitude.
Well, I was watching her and I had to go back because when I watched her come into his house, because I wanted to see how, dirty was the house. I expected to be a little unclean simply because he parties a lot and I don't think he takes the time to clean. So I expected like a cup or something to be there. It seemed relatively clean to me. And I didn't understand like, I get it that they see House Hunters and all our reality shows, so I'm sure they know what a big house in America looks like. If you watch HGTV, and they know, what a house costs.
Right.
Because it does make good money. I'm just not understanding where I think a little bit is being lost in culture. Because I think culturally, like, I think she's even rude for her culture, like how Andre is. But I think she's used to, for so long, being paid for and getting anything she wants, that when she has somebody that tells her, no, we're going to do it this way, she's like, oh no, if I don't like it, I leave. Like, I just find her to be very bizarre in two breaths.
And it's kind of interesting too, because especially with her going into that place that, Jovi picked, he picked a really nice apartment. I mean, I thought it was nice. Did you see what Hazel walked into?
I mean, I thought it was a nice apartment. I get it could be a little small, but I think these two people just were together because she was pregnant, and then he just was like, okay, let's just keep going with it. And I think she really needs to check herself, because she is the one who wants to be famous, and I really do think she's going to get a real Britney moment if she don't change her ways.
Right. Okay, and real quick before we move on to the next couple, I'm curious because I was talking about Brandon and Julia at first, and Julia is kind of maintaining, you talk to your parents and make sure that we're in the same room, or I'll go home. Do you think, are we calling her bluff on this?
Yeah, she ain't going nowhere.
No.
But what was more problematic was when his mother and him were having that conversation, and she said, even when you're married, you two still probably will have separate rooms. I was like, okay, now we're taking it a bit too far.
Yeah. No,
it's like they are going to sleep with each other. They are a couple, and you either put on some earmuffs or they find their own place. Like, it just is at a certain part, you need to grow up. And he's not. Like, I feel like she sees him as an 8-year-old boy, and she's married to her son. And now that she has competition, she's acting crazy.
I kind of feel like that too. It almost feels like a Debbie and Colt vibe. But
I think it's worse, because at least Debbie let Colt sleep with people in the house.
That's true. But with this situation, I think it would almost be easier. Like, he works on the farm, right? He works at home with all of them, and they need him to kind of be there to help out. So why not buy one of those little like modular homes or those like shed houses? And they're not that expensive. Put it on the property and just get out of their space.
I mean, from when you look into them, he does not actually work on the farm. He's an exterminator. So he helps them out, but he's an exterminator. And I'm not exactly sure as to why his finances are so messed up, because I'm tracking going around the world and it still isn't adding up. So there's something more to this storyline.
Okay. And do you I mean, were you surprised by Julia's reaction when she found out that Brandon has no money? Could you see where she's coming from in any capacity, where she feels like she was sold on a lot of mistruths before she got there?
I don't think there's anything wrong with you wanting a better life. And if a simp with an American passport is going to give it to you, I'm fine with that. The problem is, what I have a problem with the Ukrainian and the Russian woman this year is they're just a little bit too disrespectful, and they're just a little bit too forward, because I don't think Julia will pull that with somebody in Russia.
Okay.
And I think that her thing is, she's done this before. She's been with an American man. She went to live with him, and she's seen this before, and she's really trying to get this marriage. I don't find anything wrong with that, because if you're going to be a simp, be a simp. But if he wants like true love, like I said, and he knows his parents is not going to be fond of any woman they didn't pick. I just thought that she was very rude, like Yara. And I would say that these women are reminding me of Anfisa and how she was the season with George. Very rude, very ungrateful.
I find Anfisa to remind me, Yara reminds me of Anfisa, but for Julia, I don't think that she's, I'm kind of torn here because I really don't think wanting to be in the same room, especially when you're trying to get married in 90 short days, is a lot in her mind to ask for. But I also see it from the parents' perspective of this is our house. So maybe you should have planned a little bit better for your girlfriend coming and got an apartment or something.
Well, the issue with Julia is that temper she has, because you can see it right now. She has a temper. She
Right.
has a very bad attitude right now, and I hate to say this, and I know people are going to get upset with this. Her occupation is worrisome for simply the where she's going. And this is what I don't understand. We have Google. You should have Googled where he's from. You are not going to enjoy a farm. And that's what I don't get. Like, if she was a farm girl too, I would get them two being together. But because she's not.
Okay.
Because farm.
Right. And I mean, there's a smell to it. There's a level of work that goes into it. It kind of changes the dynamic of families when you have families that are that close together. I mean, as far like me and my family would be nothing like Brandon and his family, you know? So I completely agree with you. Blavi, I'm going to go on to the next couple and drop you down for a second. I'm going to bring you back up with Gatatua and also Dana. Will you be around?
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys, 110 in the room. Go ahead, hit that like button, and let's keep it moving. I want to talk about Mike and Natalie, because Mike and Natalie also came from the Ukraine, and she kind of got wooed as soon as she arrived in Seattle. She went to this beautiful hotel with an amazing view. There was dinner there, and it looked like everything was going perfect. Now, I kind of feel like this is where Mike messed up. Yes, it's great that he tried to woo her and make her first night special, but also that sets a really high bar, especially when you go to a house in the middle of the woods that may not be, I don't want to say not the nicest, but as lavish. Maybe you should have picked like a different hotel. Maybe a nice like Holiday Inn would have been good and not an expensive $500 a night room. You know what I mean? Once Natalie goes and meets Mike's uncle, I thought that she was going to hate him at first, and I thought that she was going to be extremely rude, but she wasn't. She was understanding. She sees that obviously the man likes his alcohol, but she was friendly. She was sweet. She liked his style. She thought he was fun, but she wants to keep him at a distance. And honestly, if I were her and that was the person who I wanted to choose with, that was his uncle, I wouldn't want him living with us either. I mean, she's a woman who is going to be stuck at home with this guy who has this, I don't want to say a drinking problem, but loves, like I said, loves his alcohol. And that might not be the most comfortable for a young lady. You know, I think that's fair. When she shows up at the house, though, it's kind of sad because you see Mike's like, well, do you like it? Do you like the cat? Do you like, I mean, what do you think? And she looks like she's going to crumble and cry. She looks like, what is this? I left my family. I left my mom. I left everything. And this place looks like something straight out of a horror film. I felt really bad for her in this kind of instance. But like Ablavi just said, do these people not Google? The people who come over to these different cities, do they not Google the city before they come or ask to see photos of the house? I mean, if I were uprooting my whole life and moving to a completely new location, I would want to know what that location looked like, everything about it, and what the house that I'm moving into looks like. I wouldn't just go on a whim. But I guess when you're trying to get over somewhere, a lot of people are saying in the comments she would do anything for a green card, and some of these people will do anything for a green card, even though you hate to allude to that being the reason why they would be together. Maybe that's why they don't look into it. I don't know. I'm going to bring up another opinion. Hi, Getatua.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. Did you watch this episode?
So, I'm just going to be honest and tell you that I don't think I'm going to watch this season.
Why? You're not liking
it? Because it feels a bit weird for me.
Why?
Like the dynamics of the parents and the sons, it feels a bit off. Like, for example, the first two instances,
Brandon
the
and Jovi.
mothers seem too overbearing to their sons. That kind of reminds me of this show called I Love a Mama's Boy.
Yeah.
And I feel it has the potential of becoming very cringy. So that's why I'm keeping off. But if it gets better, because I keep watching out for the highlights, but if it gets better, I'll be okay with it. For the instance about Yara, I feel she's those women who feel like maybe where I am currently, I'm might be the most beautiful woman where I am, right? So I
Right.
tend to get things my way. Then when I get over there, and I was thinking I was getting myself in a better situation than what I was in. So when I get there and I find that the situation is not good, actually I had it better where I was, but I still want to stay here because of the green card. So you start acting up because I feel she's very rude and she's very disrespectful. If I was the person dealing with her, I would actually send her back. I'm sorry. I wouldn't give her time my
No, I
time.
would send her back.
I would have sent her back immediately she arrived. I would have sent her back. Now, the issue about the mother giving getting them going to the gynecologist and her getting the what are they called? The family planning, sorry.
Yeah.
That I
Birth
would
control.
do it. Yes, I would do it because I first of all I don't want you to get pregnant with my son before I know what your intentions are with my son. I wouldn't want you to, because for the longest time I would give an example with girls from my country. They would go and try and start dating older men or men, foreigners, so that they go out of the country. Then they feel like if I have a child for this person, then I am set for life. I do not have to work a day in my life, because even if I separate with this person has to take care of me and the child. And two, I will become a citizen of this new country that I'm in. So you find someone tries to use a child as a method of coming up in their situation. So I would, if I was a mother, I would definitely take you to a gynecologist. Make sure you're not sick. Two, get you on the proper sort of plan, and then yeah, just see what you're all about. That's what I'm thinking. It might seem disrespectful, but it's also protecting yourself.
But also, sorry, I'm not. But also, wouldn't you say really quick? I just muted your mic only for a second because there's flack. But I just wanted to ask, and then I'm going to unmute it. Wouldn't you think though that this is Julia's choice, what she does with her body, and when it comes to birth control and all of that? I understand that this could be used as a way to come up, and I can see where Brandon's dad would completely think that way. But also at the same time, at the end of the day, like she said, this is a conversation she doesn't even have with her parents. It's her body. It makes her uncomfortable that they're bringing it up as soon as she arrives into America. And I could see where that would be weird.
I understand. Yeah, I'm slightly next. I'm currently almost outside, so that's why the flack. I get that, and I understand that. But you need to understand that this relationship is not a typical relationship. It's even how you met is not the typical method of how most people would say how I met your mother or how I met your father. So you need to understand there's some extenuating circumstances that need to be dealt with beforehand. It would have been, if it was me, it would have been very disrespectful if it was the father who came to me and told me that you need to do this. But the virtue that the mother is the one who did that, I respect that, because I kind of see where she's coming from. But I'm also going to say it's my body, it's my choice. But I'm trying to also understand where the mother is coming from how the situation I have seen with where I am, and people trying to use children or pregnancy as a way to be on the come up.
Okay. Well, there's a little bit of flack over here, so I'm going to go ahead and drop you down, but I appreciate you jumping on with me.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Adam.
I'll see you next time, Get to Tua. Right. All right, moving on really quick. I'm going to bring up Dana in a minute. I want to talk about Tariq and Hazel. So Tariq comes to the airport with this powder blue suit. He seems very excited. The fact that he fell out with his brother, I was completely unaware of, but he seems very excited, and he greets Hazel with these beautiful flowers. He's crying, and you can tell this man is really all here for this woman. Like, he likes her. Maybe he loves her. I guess he loves her. But once he picks her up and brings her back to this house and doesn't understand how she could think that this house is an absolute mess, I was just kind of, I was beside myself on that. You know, I still don't know what Hazel's agenda would be, especially because she's coming into the season. We know that they're entertaining a polyamorous relationship. They're going to bring a third party in, and she gets to shop for this third party, this woman, as if they're going on a shopping network. Like you're picking a pair of clothes. He's like, do you want a skinny girl, a thicker girl, a shorter girl, a taller girl? What do you want? And that just seems interesting to me. I don't want to say strange because nothing is strange to me anymore, but that seems interesting to me in itself. I'm going to bring up Dana though really quick because my biggest question was I thought when they pulled up to the house that Hazel would be super wooed by this house because it's a big house. But when she walked in, she looked like she wanted to cry. This made me feel bad, but let's see what Dana has to say. 140 in the room, guys. Go ahead and hit that like button. And hi, Dana.
Hello.
How are you?
Happy to see you.
Good. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much.
I'm happy to see you.
Happy holidays to you.
All right. So did you watch this episode?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What were our thoughts?
There does seem to be a genuine bond between them. Well, particularly he with her.
Right.
The whole bringing the third party in, you know, my state of mind with that, I know they've been connected for a while, but to me, I would think that you would want to build a foundation between yourselves with her just coming into the United States to have a relationship, you know, in person before you even think about bringing in a third party. Yeah.
Right.
You know, because
Well, and you also think you would be focusing on getting your son over, and you would be there would be a lot of other things that would come to play. He has a daughter who has autism, maybe getting to know the daughter. I mean, I just seem like the priorities might be a little.
I mean, just the daughter with autism, I had a son with special needs, and I adored him and loved him, and he was precious, and there wasn't a mean thing about raising him. But that being said, it's a whole different life. You know, I mean, it really is. You have to change your life for them. So that alone, just that aspect alone, is a whole different ball of wax to have to learn and adjust to for her and the whole family dynamic. So to take all these other things onto the plate is just ridiculous, first of all. So I just don't understand their train of thought. So her walking into the house, that aspect about her being overwhelmed, I can understand that because her, like he said, her whole house would fit into his garage. So she has grown up with very, very humble means.
But wouldn't you think that would make her, and I don't want to sound ignorant, but I would have thought that she would have been more excited to see the big house, but it kind of seemed like it overwhelmed her and like scared her a little bit.
Well, I mean, to walk into something like that, you know, if she has grown up in very humble means, right? And she walks into something like that, first of all, it feels like a class difference. You know, like a caste system almost. So I can see how that might make her feel like lower in the caste system. And that's a psychological thing.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying when I say
No, yeah, of course. She might feel like way out of place and lower. Yeah, I completely get
like
what you're saying.
Almost a servant type mentality.
And then when she looked at him in the interview and she said, "Were you waiting for me to come here and clean your house?" I was like, oh.
Bingo. So that just adds to the whole caste system mentality in itself. Is he bringing her over not just for a wife, but almost like a servant?
Yeah.
So to be overwhelmed by that she's thrown into a whole world that she's got to adjust to. You know, her saying, "I'm not going to use a dishwasher. I'm going to do it by hand because I think I can do it better." That's not even something that she's ever seen or used in her entire life.
And I don't think that he's looking at it from that perspective. I think he's looking at it like, wow, a dishwasher. Look at one of these. You never have to wash dishes by hand again, babe. Look at all of these nice things that I can give to you. And she's looking at it like,
But he's already saying, you're never going to have to wash dishes by hand. You know, it's not a joint effort here. He's already assuming she's going to be the one that does these things.
So do you think there could be some male chauvinistic tendencies to Tariq?
Yeah, frankly.
Okay.
I think that it's going to be the man does this and the woman does this. And I assume that he's thinking that she's not going to work, that she is going to be in the household taking care of all these things.
Okay. Hermione said, is it really so bad to hook an American to get a green card? Hermione, I'm split on this. Do I think that it's bad to marry an American because you fall in love with them and you want to come over and you see that there's a better life and yada yada? No, I don't think that's bad. Do I think if you're fishing for a green card and not a person that you want to spend the rest of your life with in order to like merge your way into their life and knowing that you're probably going to drop them when you can because you get that citizenship and you just took a big chunk of their life away from them, misleading them or misguiding them, making them think it's for love? Yes, I think that there's probably something wrong with that.
It's all about intentions to me.
Yeah, it's just, it's what your intentions are. I think if you that's like if I fell in love, or if any of us fall in love with somebody in a different country and you fall in love with them, no, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I mean, if I was deeply in love with somebody, it'd be a whole different ball of wax. But if they're using me, like I can't remember that lady's name, but you know, the redheaded lady with glasses, and the guy came over, and you knew it was completely for the green card.
Rebecca and ZIED?
No, the other lady. She had glasses. She was short, really heavy, and the guy came over, and he was completely not interested in her. She had the friend Beth.
Is that Molly?
Somebody in the chat help me out.
Guys, go ahead and if you guys know who Dana's talking about.
You know, they got big battle and
Danielle. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Good job, Jamal. Yes, it was Daniela Mohammed. Oh, yeah. And that was so clearly and obvious that he was not in that for the right reasons. That was actually kind of a sick joke.
I mean, completely from the very second he came over, you knew.
Oof. Okay.
But as far as Mike and I know her name and I can't think.
Mike and Natalie?
Natalie, yeah. When she came over and they had that lovely, lovely night, right? And like you said, she was being kind of set up to be let down. Here they've talked that long, and you see them videoing in the yard and videoing in the house and stuff like that. You cannot tell me that he has not videoed in different rooms in that house. You cannot tell me that he has not walked around in that house and showed her the different rooms over time.
I agree.
I mean, let's be real.
I agree. I mean, like Ablavi said, at that point, it's your problem. It's not like you don't have Google. It's not like you can't see what you're getting into and ask the right questions. It takes a long time to get approved for the K-1 visa. You have the time to do your due diligence and know exactly where you're going. Sure, it might not have been what you thought it would have been like, and it might not have been how it seemed, but you can at least get a general idea and ask those questions like, what does your house look like? Send me photos. What is our room going to look like? What does our street look like? How close are the other houses? What is the population of your city? Does it snow? Does it not snow? Why is it so cold? Like,
you know, she's asked. I mean, that's her personality. But that being said, I can say when she came into the house and she wanted tea and she said it was cold and stuff like that, he was not the warmest about accommodating her with anything. You know, she just came in the house and he was just kind of like, you know, like she'd been there for a few years and they'd already been living together. Not like she'd just come in the house, and he wasn't that welcoming to me.
Right. He was just like, here's your closet. Here's where the majority of the stuff is. And here's boo-boo.
Yeah. And she said tea. He goes, oh, here's some Lipton tea. You know, I felt like by the time they got to the house, he was cold.
Could you see her face where she just wanted to crumble?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was sad. All right. Well, Dana, moving on really quick. There's our last couple, Andrew and Amira. At first, when their story came on, I thought, wow, you know, this guy, he was kind of a clown, you know, but Amira seems like she's hopelessly looking for love in her small town. She's not finding it. She does seem a little bit superficial when she talks because she likes the makeup and look, she likes materialistic things, which is fine. That doesn't make you a bad person. But with this guy, he seems kind of like, I don't want to say like a little bit of a slob, but he kind of seems like a little bit sloppy.
She's the one from France, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand that match.
Well, he seems like I could see like where she was like, he would move heavens and earths. And I was like, this seems like it's kind of pre-scripted when you guys said that, because then he went on right after and said, I would move heavens and earths for her, or whatever the case was. But he seems like he can say all of the right things and be very loving. But at the same time, now we're already starting to see in the first episode where he's kind of told her, that he'll have this bad energy, this bad resentment towards her if she doesn't show up to Mexico, and he'll feel X, Y, and Z, and that he could potentially end up leaving her in the future. I mean, that's not a way to make a woman feel good about coming all the way across from her country to the United States, I wouldn't think. Oh, you muted.
I heard her say that to the father, that he said that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear him say that. Did you hear him say that?
No, I heard her say it.
Right. So I didn't, I'm going to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Because I heard her say that to the dad. But, I mean, he seems cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for her.
Yeah, and the sister kind of, I was so annoyed. Just to be fair, I was annoyed watching the sister in this episode when we're seeing him sit down with his sister and she's upset that he's missing a baby shower. It's like, do you not understand if they were actually in fact in love, do you not understand the process of how fast they have to move on this, especially when the world is going into a worldwide pandemic?
Yeah, because when he talks to her, he just seems banana. To me, he seems like a guy that didn't date much or didn't get that lucky, sort of on the nerdy side, that was like, oh my God, I hit the jackpot.
Kind of like Colt.
Yeah. Well,
except Colt has like a suave. Colt thinks he's suave.
But maybe not as intentionally sneaky or snaky as Colt. More like a guy that just doesn't get as lucky in the States and just happened to say the right things to this girl in France and was like, wow, I better take the chance while I got it because I'm not going to get lucky here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, of course. And, I don't know if we only know what we get so far. I don't know too much about any of these couples. I have to call Max the celeb talk guy because he usually has the stuff on these guys. But we see where I think Amira might actually get locked into an immigration type of situation where, right? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where they might actually be holding her and she says it was the worst experience of her life.
That's just heart-wrenching.
Do you think that could be because they're trying to do these loopholes to get into the United States?
I think it's that, and I think it's COVID. Because, she was hitting it right as COVID was locking everything down. Because they were trying to go to Mexico to escape all the lockdowns.
Right. All right. And then before we end up letting you go, Dana, I'm curious. One, what is your favorite couple, the couple that you're most excited to kind of watch their whole story unravel? And two, what are you looking forward to most from next episode?
Okay, we've got Amira and Thiem, and then we've got Mike and Vanessa. Natalie. And then we've got...
and Julia.
Who?
Brandon and Julia.
Brandon and Julia. Probably Brandon and Julia.
Yeah, I would have to agree because I can't wait to see. Like I said, I hate to use the analogy for two women as being two bulls who are like hitting each other. But Julia is a strong personality. She's going to want to get her way. And his mom has all of the cards in her hand. She's pretty much looking at the son like, you can't afford to go anywhere. So what are you going to do?
Because, I can't help. And I've seen them, off of the show, some little interviews and stuff here and there. And I can't help but feel that she does genuinely love him in some ways. So I don't think it's all like for show.
Right.
And I have to say, if I were in her position, I would be irritated as crap.
I would be so annoyed. That mom is so overbearing. The dad is really not as bad. The dad kind of goes with the flow of what the mom wants, right? He doesn't seem like he's too much. But for the mom knocking on the door, come on guys, hello. It's like, why don't you take a day to yourself and go see the sights with your husband, spend some time alone without Brandon and Julia around, and let them kind of spend the day doing their own thing? Why do you guys have to do everything together?
I mean, I'm from the South, so I live here, and I would respect that all day long because I live here, right? But if I came from another country and had 90 days and it was about getting married and all of that stuff, heck yeah, I would be so agitated because it's ridiculous. You've got 90 days to figure out if you're going to marry this person. So you need to spend as much time as you can confined in the same space.
Right. And I think that his mom's trying to get the point across of, you're not just marrying my son, you're marrying the family, the farm, and Brandon.
But Brandon looks to me like he is probably telling her that he's an independent contractor when he does the bug thing. So you're right. He needs to go to the barn, a shed, the outhouse, something, and build a makeshift house.
Yep. There was another TLC couple that lived in the shed for a while, and they made, who was it? It was the guy from South Africa.
Yeah. Hey, help us out in chat.
Yeah, come on, guys. You guys, they know who I'm talking about. We know who we're talking about. But yeah, they lived in a shed, and it worked out just fine. I mean, they're out of the shed now. And Sinjin, thank you.
Or put a big tent out in the woods. Put a fan in it. Do something.
I would just get out of the house.
Man up, Brandon.
All right. Well, Dana, I appreciate you jumping on with me. As always, it's a pleasure. And I know this is a holiday week, so I just wanted to say happy holidays to you and your family. And I hope I see you the rest of the week.
Well, happy holidays to you guys. I love you so much.
Oh, we love you too, Dana. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Ablavi?
Hi. So I already saw the next episode, so I know what's going to happen.
What is it on TLC?
It was on. Because I was watching. I didn't watch it live. I watched Atlanta. I know, disgraceful, and I watched Potomac. So then I watched something called Unexpected, and we will be talking about that on Jamal's show, because talk about bad parenting. Then when it came back on, the new episode for next week came, and then the two that aired.
Oh, okay. Well, don't ruin it for me. I'm going to go on TLC.com and see if I can't find it.
It's not the whole episode. It's just the first hour.
Okay. Oh, that's one thing I do. If any of you guys have Hulu, that's one thing that I do miss about having Hulu after I moved. I got rid of it because the Comcast, whatever here is so great. So it's like, why am I going to pay for Hulu? But Hulu would always let you, the day after the new episode comes out, it shows you the episode for next week, the first hour of it. And I always felt like I was ahead of the game, but now I feel behind.
With the, where did it end with the new couple in France?
Well, we hear about, they're getting ready. She's about to get on a flight to come to Mexico. They're talking about how scared she is. And Andrew is just excited that he's going to be seeing her. And Amira's dad obviously has a huge disdain for Andrew.
That one was crazy because you want her to break the law. Because I went and looked on it, and she lives in France. She was like in the southern part of France, and that's when France's numbers were going up. That's when they had a lockdown so bad. Remember, they had to like have a permission slip to go outside. Yeah. I mean, I do weekly, not weekly, but I do collab every once in a while with the Grace Report. She's in France, and she just here recently got allowed to where she's allowed more than 1 hour out of her house a day. We're only getting 1 hour. Yeah, but that's how the lockdown was because she was in France. Then I think that's how it was in the beginning. I'm guessing she got her thing in like March, and then it closed, but you had like one flight you could get on before it closed. I don't understand why she didn't get on that flight. And you still can't travel to the UK. Well, you You could in like September or in August, but you had to like quarantine for 2 weeks, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, I'm not breaking the law for nobody because he was being ridiculous. He was like pushing for her to come and telling her, oh, a woman from France did it. Are you crazy?
Yeah. And then now that actually makes more sense too, maybe why she would have been held in some sort of, I don't know if it was a detention center, if it was immigration. I don't know what she was held in, but it might have been because they might have closed the flights back to France from Mexico. So she might have had this waiting period where she was stuck. And she said the only reason she didn't jump on one of the last remaining flights was because her K-1 visa got approved the same day that President Trump issued the travel ban.
But as a French citizen, she can come here on a traveler visa. She doesn't have like the other people, because I go to Paris all the time. You can just take your passport and go.
You're just traveling like that, Ablavi?
I mean, not now, but I go to Paris at least once a year. You can just take your passport and go. You don't need to go. So she could have gone for vacation, and you can stay there like 3 months.
Do you want a Paris buddy?
I was supposed to be there in September. I like going then because they have all the festivals and stuff like that, and the prices are relatively cheap. But yeah, she can go for 3 months. She doesn't need a to go to the consulate. So she could have gone for the holidays, and when she was coming back, she would have been stayed here like Jenny and Sumit. So that storyline doesn't make sense.
Okay.
You don't have to need a passport. Like I go to France all the time. You don't need a pass. You need your passport, but you don't. That's all you need.
You don't need the K-1 visa.
And just go.
Right. Well, she did say, I mean, the sister did say too, though, that she's met her a couple times in America. She's been there. She's been to Vegas. Maybe she's just come and gone too many times where she can't just keep, right? Or no?
No, you can go every year. You can go for up to 3 months a year.
Oh, okay.
If you do more than 3 months, then you have to go, and you can renew it to like 6 months. But yeah, she doesn't need a visa. Like it's not like how Michael is and some of the other ones where they got to go to the like you don't need to do that. And they could have, if they really wanted to get married, she could come here and get married, or he could have gone there. Like this storyline isn't adding up unless.
Are you looking into something?
Yeah, they were. Look, if you have a boyfriend, no, she exactly. She could have come. I go. Listen, if there's one place I know to go is Paris. For like the last 6 years, I've been there at least 30 to 60 days. No, she was not. So that storyline didn't make sense to me.
Okay.
Because look at Alejandro and the family Chantel. He came here on a visitor visa, and then he got his green card because he got married while he was with his visitor visa. I mean, granted, it's not the most proper thing to do, but if he really wanted to marry her, she could have come on a tourist visa. She could have come here to travel, and they could have gotten married. So that whole storyline does not sound right.
Okay. All right, and we're going to have to keep an eye on this because I love Investigator Ablavi coming through, but is there a couple that you're paying most attention to in this new season of 90 Day? Because I know you said you're here for this season.
I'm here for this season. However, I need 90 Day to stop giving us the same storyline from the Ukraine. I need them to either pick Ukrainian women who really want that. If they're going to pretend like they're going to play this game of does she want the citizenship, does she not? She needs to act right. Like, and then two, people are going to hate me for this, but I need more attractive Eastern European women. I know beautiful Eastern European women, and it's like we get the budget Walmart version.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm just being honest. These women, I know they're not hot at American standard. They're certainly not hot where they are. And I'm going to say I'm interested in Hazel and Tariq simply because Tariq gives me a good chuckle of the blueberry pimp from Love After Lockup. Cougar, Botch Cougar was on next episode.
Yep.
She's on, and her storyline, I'm going to be honest with you. I may have to call her a different name because I like her. And this is the first time I've liked an older woman with a younger man. I like her, but she's coming with cool. She's really like an interesting one when she comes in and her man and their storyline.
Maybe you can call her Cougar.
Maybe. and then who else is there?
Brandon and Julia.
Jovi
Mike
and Natalie needs to go off. I'm sick of them. They were boring the season they were in. They're boring this season. I think what it was is the pandemic happened, right? And he couldn't go on Anastasia.com again to find a new woman. So he said, I'm going to just keep her for the quarantine.
Oh, my gosh.
I
Okay.
think that's
Okay, Ablavi. Well, all right. And Jovi and Yara, and we know that's not going to work. Just saying.
I heard they got married.
Did they?
Got married.
If they got married, that guy probably just made the biggest mistake of his life.
I heard they got married and they're still together. But I don't know what happens because this is during quarantine. So it's going to be interesting to see if they don't get married and they can't take a flight home, what happens.
I hope it's not a detention center. All right. We're going to have to keep our eyes open, Ablavi. As always, it's a blast having you on. I appreciate you. And I feel like you come with some behind the scenes stuff that a lot of us, I mean, I don't know half the things that you say sometimes.
Yes.
It blow my mind. So,
and I found a picture of Yara pre-surgery. But I didn't want to be rude, Adam, on your show because I know you don't body shame. We'll go to Jamal's to show that.
Okay, and I'll be watching you guys on Jamal's. Guys, you have to check out Jamal too, Reality TV Chit Chat Live. And then also, when are you guys going live?
I think they're going 4.
4. All right. We'll be watching Jamal, guys. Everybody go tune in. And Ablavi, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. All right, guys. So we are hitting our hour, so we're going to go ahead and call it for today. But if you called in, I promise I'll get you guys on tomorrow. We'll be going live with Femtero. We have a few other fun lives. I didn't want to do Real Housewives of Atlanta today, so I will be jumping on and doing it tomorrow just because I didn't want to do 3 in a row. I'm still not feeling too hot right now, so that's why. Normally, I'll bang them out, and I'll do 3, 4, 5 videos in a day. But I think I'm going to go rest a little bit, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy holidays. Love you guys. Bye.